What's up, military and veterans? The time has come for you to destroy your financial freedom goals, and luckily, there's an event coming up just for you.
The Veterans for Financial Freedom organization is hosting a seminar in San Diego, California this February on financial literacy, entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and some of our Agent Goldmine guests are rocking the stage as speakers.
Get your ticket at veteransforfinancialfreedom.org/Agent Goldmine and take action towards your goals today. Now, enjoy the show.
So this episode is going to cover Eve's content framework on all the social media platforms, how she does it, and you're going to see a sense of why she is so killer on social media in front of the camera from the start. This is the Agent Goldmine, where you'll find real talk, and ambition. We're here to build real businesses and be more than your average agent. We want to know what the killers are actually doing within their businesses, the reality of it. All tactical, no fluff. So we're here to find out. Please share and enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of the Agent Goldmine, where Shelby and I today are introducing Eve Santiago, and she is a killer person. I love her. You're going to fall in love with her as well. She's out in Chicago, Illinois. And she heard me on a podcast and we connected through Graham, and we're best friends now. And I admire your social media. So this episode is going to cover Eve's content framework, both for YouTube, on all the social media platforms, how she does it. And you're going to see a sense of why she is so killer on social media in front of the camera from the start. And I think that might be because Eve has been in customer service her entire life. So she's used to projecting that like outward, like bubbly, like this is the inviting personality. And that transfers over beautifully over into real estate, because I think a lot of the best agents have been in the customer service industry. So Eve is a new addition to our crew out in five pillars. We're everywhere in five pillars. Eve, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Eve, your personality is so fun. I want to talk about a little bit before we jump into your content framework and, the real estate pieces of it, but like before that. So you've been in customer service your whole life, but what did that look like? And did you just pop out with this dynamic personality, or has that evolved over time?
No. So it's definitely evolved over time. I used to be super shy when I was in school, and I was like, man, shy people really don't get what they want, right? Like you're kind of like pushed to the side. And I was like, screw that. I'm whatever. So in high school, I was like, I'm just going to come out of my shell. What's the worst that can happen? And so my first job, I was 18 and it was customer service, right? Of course, I was like, I'm going to go into the serving industry, right? Because that's what you do when you're 18. And that kind of helped me. That was like a big thing that helped me realize like people sometimes suck, but you still have to look like this. You still have to have that happy face on because you're working basically, no matter how bad they treat you, you're like, I still am going to be nice to you because you're my customer and you're going to tip me at the end of the day. And so I think early on, I was like, okay, I get this. I get people and how to kind of not work them, but kind of figure out what works for them individually to get them to kind of me as their server or as their, whatever it is, right? And then I jumped to personal training. That was the same thing. I had to have this high energy because I need to motivate them, right? Like I can't just sit here and sip some coffee and just be like, good job. You have to be like, okay, you can do it because they're dying and they need you to speak. So that's another thing I have to fill the dead space. They can't talk because they're out of breath. So I'm used to just talking, filling dead space, making people feel comfortable. And yeah, I think that goes hand in hand with this, right? People are making huge decisions and they need to be comfortable and they need to trust you that you're helping them make that right choice. So it really does kind of go hand in hand for personal training, which I've done for the past 15 years. So that's kind of where that personality comes from.
You mentioned that you figured out basically how to get people to like you, and basically that the likable people will get what they want in the world. Basically, those are not your words. Those are mine. What specific things have you figured out that are the things that make people like you the fastest?
Asking them questions, asking them about themselves. people like to talk about themselves and what's going on in their lives. So, if somebody walks into an open house, I say my name, but then I'm like, tell me about you. How long have you been looking for a house? Do you have a dog? What's your dog's name? Can I see a picture of your dog? You just want to feel like you want to make that person feel you're really invested in them personally. And like I said, that happens all the time with personal training. I'm kind of like their therapist. And I ask all those little things because people want to feel cared for. And that, I think, in turn helps them feel like I'm trustworthy and that I really care about them, which I do. It is, I do care about people and I do care to ask. So, yeah, I think that kind of helps me feel like people will trust me just by listening to them.
I'm thinking back to when I was a server. I worked at the Olive Garden and for like 3 months in between, like, during a summer, and I wish like, I first of all, I think everyone should work in the customer service industry to get to know people, like, that's when you'll get to know yourself too. "Hey, this is what I wanna change about me." And I just wish that America had a way for the clients, for the guests, or for La Familia, if we're sticking with the Olive Garden, for them to tell us, "How much are you going to tip me?" Because I will work as hard as the tip, proportionally speaking, Like, I really, really wish that. So instead, obviously, as we all know, like, the server just has to go all out, okay, trying to get these tips and then maybe get 20%. It's similar to, like, real estate where, like, you're not getting paid until the very end. So you have to prove your worth up front. Like, you have to do all this stuff to, like, make you stand out. Like, they are glad to be having, to be sitting at your table. They're glad to be using you as a real estate agent because you just knock it out of the park. So, let's go with, I don't even know where I want to go with this. I just wanted to tell my Olive Garden story. It's just so hard, to be like, I always want to be like, "Hey, how much are you going to tip?" And as like person who's going to be eating out now, like, I almost want to tell them, "Hey, I'm tipping you 20%,"
Yes.
or that way it's okay. I'm going to get good service. But
That's
anyway,
a
I
good
don't think
point.
like anyone else is kind of on my, no one else wants to do that.
Well, dude, my thing is I tip accordingly to the performance, you know what I mean? Performance. To the service, you know what I mean? If they and I was thinking about that too, like, Eve, you said right away that asking questions and being, like, genuinely interested in other people make them like you right away, which is, like, 100% true, love that, but, like, looking at you too, you are high energy and you smile, and I feel like those are also little factors that you do, probably maybe even subconsciously. I bet this has evolved over time to be the subconscious part of you, but like you, yeah, are incredibly likable and it comes through on your content, which is really, really hard to do. Actually, you could have the most likable, amazing people and then put a camera in front of them and they're like, "Ah." Have you always been natural in front of the camera, or what did that evolution to have your authentic personality come out look like?
Yeah, no, I have not always been comfortable in front of the camera at all. I dabbled in photography in a bit, and I loved being behind the camera and capturing unique images and stuff. But I hate when people take a picture of me. I can't stand it. I'm like, first of all, it's going to look terrible, and just no, I don't like to be in front of a camera. But I knew getting into real estate, I had no social media about real estate at all. And so I figured, I was like, what if somebody looks me up on YouTube, on Instagram, anywhere, they're not going to see any real estate content. So I was like, I have to force myself to be comfortable and to bring value to people. And that's what I think, like, all of my videos, I'm trying to give value to people. So that in turn, me giving them something without asking for anything is a way of, okay, I can trust this person. She's doing something for me and I haven't, she's not asking me for anything. So I think that like kind of helps build trust with people because I'm just giving them something. But no, the whole camera thing kind of, I filmed one 30-second thing on TikTok and I was like, okay, it's fine. I mean, it sucked. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh gosh, but it's still on there and it's 50 or 60 videos deep because I went on a deep binge of, I've got to post a video every day for the next 30 days. And then it ended up being like, I was posting 2 a day. I was just trying to get myself out there. And the more I did, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just really talking to a friend. right? This person's not in front of me. If somebody hates it, they could just change their YouTube channel, you know? And even if they hate it and they give me a thumbs down, it's still activity on my YouTube page. Like, just give it to me. I'll take whatever, you know? But I definitely wasn't comfortable at all. And I think now I'm just kind of like, yeah, like after 30 days, I was like, this is super easy. So the hardest part is just like finding exactly the content that I want to
Okay. Yeah, I think that that's probably key because you can tell someone to post on social media all day, but if they're not posting about what they want to post about, they're gonna it's gonna obviously be not genuine and then therefore a huge turnoff. When you first started, what platforms were you on and what was your like content tempo like and what is it like now? Thank you for listening. Out of respect for your time, we want to make this show as valuable as possible for you. So if you have any feedback on how we can improve, please let us know. DM us at Allie the Agent and The Shelby Show.
So I was mostly posting on Instagram because that's kind of like, that was like my catch all for all of the things I did in daily life. And I had a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel for 11 years, but I was posting my hobbies at the time. Like it would be like workouts, or it would be, I was really big into electric e-bikes. And so I gained this huge following of electric e-bikes. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, who are you now? And so Allie gave me a good tip. She was like, well, maybe have two separate or have a separate page. And so now I do that because, yeah, those people like that page, they're probably into real estate. Whereas my people who like, were watching my bike videos, they're like, we just want to see you on your bike, like riding around Chicago, So I've been on YouTube for 11 years, like I said, but I've just recently started posting real estate stuff on YouTube. And I am on TikTok, not quite as much as I am Instagram and YouTube. I would say those two are my bigger platforms that I'm kind of focusing on. And, Facebook, because a lot of our buyers are going to still be on Facebook. So I do Facebook a lot as well. I don't if I post something on Instagram, I don't do that automatic share, right? Because then it looks weird and people have to click on it. You want to post, or I post a video just for Facebook so that when they're scrolling, it just starts playing. They don't click on anything. So as soon as they start scrolling, they're going to hear someone's voice pop up and they're like, oh, what's that? Or, oh, that's annoying. Scroll by it.
What's your Instagram handle, TikTok handle, YouTube channel? If you want to share the YouTube, I understand not sharing it just for the organic reach.
So my Instagram channel is Eve_making_moves. So I know that's long. And my TikTok one, I believe, is the same. It's the same thing. So Eve_making. And then my YouTube is actually the same. I think I finally have them all labeled the same way. So if they write that up, it'll pop up in all of them.
Yeah, everyone go follow Eve because you make such good content. The editing is amazing and you do the editing yourself, right? Can you talk about what platform or how you edit, what you have in mind as you're editing it, or even when you're recording it? Do you already have your edits in mind? Just talk about that because I don't know anything about editing.
Okay, so when I think of what I'm going to do my video of, like what I'm going to have in that video, it's kind of like I picture, I'm like, okay, I want to have it to be like a certain flow. If it's something calmer, I'm not going to speak as crazy as I normally do, but I'm like, I try to be really, really pumped. So when I'm recording, obviously I'm not doing it in one big chunk, right? Like I might say a sentence and then I'll be like, oh, what was I saying? And then I'll have like bullet points, like on the side. And then I make sure I'm carrying the same tone throughout the video so that nobody knows it's spliced, which they probably do because people just know, but it doesn't sound that way. So I have to make sure I'm remembering what tone I said my last sentence in so that it sounds like it flows. Because if you don't do that, it's kind of off-putting. You're like, I don't want to watch this anymore. So I kind of make sure that that's happening. And then when I go to edit, I mean, it's a long process. It is. I love doing it, but hopefully I'm going to be a little too busy to do it at some point. But I use Canva mixed with CapCut. And I love CapCut. There's a computer version, but I refuse to hop on the computer. Everything is on my phone. And so as I'm going through, I kind of think, I'm like, all right, every 5 seconds, there has to be a change in the screen. Every 5 seconds. Because everybody's attention spans, like obviously if it's a subject they're into, they'll watch it, regardless if there's something different happening in 5 seconds. But if they're not, if they're new, you want things popping at them. You want it to be, every 5 seconds, they're like, oh, there's a different noise, or oh, there's a different screen, or oh, she's facing the other way, because that's going to keep them interested. And so when I'm editing, I kind of like keep that in mind. I'll zoom pieces in, zoom pieces out, grab, clip art from Canva or a photo or a video, because you can't just have a video with like all one thing. That's going to get boring. So you kind of have to surprise them. What's going to pop in next? Is it going to be a video, or is it going to be like a little cartoon clip art? I don't know. What sound is coming in next? So it's just fun for me. I have fun with it. I think it's like, silly to put in different sounds, and it makes me laugh and keeps me interested. So that's just kind of how I do it. It does take a long time, and I know I want to be like Allie and post these long videos, but I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to have time to edit. That's going to take me like 2 weeks to edit something that long. I don't know how you do it, because for me, I posted a video just like an hour ago, and it was a 15-minute clip that I cut down to 4 minutes, and that took me all day yesterday. So I don't know how you do it.
I don't.
Do you,
That's the thing is I don't edit. I don't.
you just
So
record and then you send it out?
yeah, I use a company, VidChops. So I'm focused more on now. I focus more on long form. I mean, I don't know how to edit. I don't want to learn how to edit. I don't have the creative mind for that. And maybe I'm just telling myself that, but also I don't even care enough to learn. So yeah, I use VidChops. They say that they have a 3-day turnaround. It's more like 5, but it's unlimited revisions, So I'm like, okay, cool. I can just be like, hey, you still didn't do this. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm curious with Allie, real quick with VidChops, is it, because my thing, I'm not even doing long form. I'm not on YouTube right now. I mean, I am, but there's nothing happening. Allie, like how much guidance are you giving them? Are you like super specific? Like you send bullet, this is what I want down to the T and they do it? Or are you kind of giving them examples? Hey, I really like this person's videos. Can you replicate? And what does that look like?
Yeah, so a mixture of both. I tell them I want either like some sort of edit or something pop up or text on the screen, something every 15 seconds on a long form video, some sort of B roll, even if it's stock, canned footage of something else. I want B roll every 15 seconds. And then I'm a little bit more specific on my thumbnails. Hey, I want this color background. I kind of want, this is what I'm thinking. Here are some references, but you definitely have to be on them for that. Hey, this is not the thumbnail that I wanted. Let's go back to the original post. So it's still that back and forth. With VidChops, you get one editor and obviously two different people. They can't read your mind. So you have to be really, really specific. But I'm also trying to give them enough leeway. Hey, every 15 seconds, I want something. I want some sort of animation, like just change of scenery, something. So yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah. And I'm going to ask you more questions on that later, but so Eve, I was wondering if you could kind of take us, I want to zoom out and then go through like the whole process of a hypothetical video. Can we do, something that listeners may want to do where it's like pros and cons of moving to Chicago, hypothetically, maybe. Can you walk us through from the idea hitting your head all the way your process?
So pros and cons. So what I would do is I would hop on Chat GPT to get an idea of like bullet points that I want to use, right? Like, of course, I could sit here and write it out. That's going to take me a lot longer than Chat GPT, which we'll do in 3 seconds. And so I'll have it give me a bullet point list. That's always what I ask it for, is just I want a bullet point list so I know what I want to hit, and then I just rephrase it in my tone. And so I would get some pros and cons and then go from there and make like a list in front of me. And I have it kind of sitting off to the side. And then I have my camera, like my phone, set up. And so I do all my recording from my phone. And I'll have it off to the side. And I make it kind of, something that is believable or that I like literally believe in, right? Like one of the pros of Chicago is all of the architecture. It's amazing. You literally walk down the street and you see so many different types of buildings. And I love that. And then one of the cons is the terrible parking. And as you can see, I get passionate about it. So I do things that I know I'm going to get passionate about. Because like you said earlier, is if it's something I'm not interested in, I'm not going to make a video about it because you'll be able to tell that I'm just kind of forcing it out. So I don't make videos that I just don't feel like making. Even if I feel like someone, oh, this is a really good one. I'm like, that's probably not for me, but that's okay. But I go through and I make that list. And I'm like, all right, which ones? And I try not to pick too many. Like I do 3 because it's going to take forever. And I'm back to the editing thing. I'm like, I don't have time to be editing a huge list. So let's just make it short. 3 and 3 is great. And that's enough for people's attention spans anyway, for what I'm doing. And so I'll go through and I will literally just chop and I'll record one pro. And then I will double look because I'm not memorizing a script. And I'm like, what was my other pro? Okay, yeah, that reminds me. And then I'll just keep talking through. Once I have everything recorded that I want to record. Oh, and another tip is do not stop the camera. I never stop the camera. I never hit stop or start. I just keep recording because you're going to chop all that dead space out anyway. So why am I going to keep pressing stop, record, stop, record? So it's just way better just to keep the flow and just talk. And then if I know I messed up on a sentence, I just give like a few seconds because I know I'm going to chop that out. And then I re-say the sentence the way I want to say it. And so that's kind of also, I kind of edit along the way and I'll know when I'm editing on CapCut, like, oh yeah, I didn't like that sentence at all. So, all right, I record the video and then I put it right into CapCut. And in CapCut, the first thing I do is I'll take the volume all the way up because I know I'm going to want it all the way up. And once you start chopping it, you can't turn the volume. You got to go in between and turn the volume up on all of them. So first thing, I turn the volume up right away before I start chopping it up, the video. And then I chop out, then I put the text in because then that will help me see, oh yeah, I didn't like that sentence. So I can take that out easily because I can see where those words are at the bottom. So I just take those chunks out. And then as I'm doing that, I will just grab a screen and pull it in if I think it's important or, zoom in and out. So I kind of do that all in one thing. Then I go back to the top and I open up my Canva app and I'm like, okay, what's, one of the pros was the architecture. So then I'm going to look up Chicago architecture and I'm going to find buildings or either I can find like a photo to do a complete overlay or, I research all of the topics that I want to, and then I save those images to my phone. Then they're already there. So now once I'm editing, I just click overlay, put it on, because they're all on my phone. I'm not going to download one. Okay, now I'm going to go back to CapCut, download another. I just know what my topics are because I had that bullet point sheet. So I know, all right, this topic, I need a photo for this. What's relevant for this? And yeah, and I don't pick the top things, by the way, on Canva, because you're bound to see some other video with those same, I have seen other videos that have the same generic first one that they see. I do some digging to make it at least unique. And yeah, so once I do the whole Canva thing, then you go through, it's a lot. Then you go through, you add your music. And a thing that I think people overlook is if you have something pop on the screen, you have got to put a noise with it. If you just have something pop up, yeah, sure, it's a pop-up, but people need to hear it. It's not, I think people forget how important hearing and visualizing things are, right? I used to not do the noises on my video, and now on my videos, I look back and I'm like, oof, I wouldn't want to watch that. That didn't intrigue me in all of my senses. Especially for me, I have ADHD, so I need things happening. I need to hear something. I need to see something. Things need to excite me. So I definitely am big on sound effects, and which also adds into the time. But yeah, then music goes in, and then it's all the uploading and then the writing of all the things. It's an all day thing depending on the length of the video. Yeah. So that was a lot. So hopefully that, kind of help explain the whole process. Oh, and I use Canva, or not Canva. I use Canva for the prints, for the thumbnails for YouTube. But I also use Quillbot, which if you get something, like if I want something summarized and it doesn't sound like me, I'll put it on Quillbot, and then you can kind of like make it sound, and it could be a funny tone, it could be a serious tone, it could be a like a childish, playful tone, and you can also choose the words that you want. Like you can hover over, I don't like that word, give me different words, and so it'll help you kind of like write I use that for my blog just because it's quick. I don't have
Wow.
time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Quillbot. I had never heard of that. Okay, we'll link to that in the show notes. Okay, I want to continue going on uploading. So once you have finished the video, you said that you don't have the repurpose, share on Instagram and also Facebook. So what platforms do you share it, and do you share it all at once, like same
So
day?
I Yeah, I usually, even though on Instagram, like if I film horizontally, it's on Instagram, they've gotten better. It looks better horizontally now. TikTok, it doesn't look good. That's not something that they want really on their platform. They want a full screen. Like when they see that, it's not appealing or attractive compared to the last one they just saw. So I don't really focus on TikTok. Maybe in the future, maybe, but I think because I film horizontally, it's going to look best on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And I post them individually because, like I was saying before, Facebook, you don't want, if you share from Instagram, that video won't play right away. It's going to say like Instagram something, and that person has to take an extra step to click a button. And most people are not going to do that. So they're not going to see your content if they have to click a button. So I separated that. I'm like, nope, I'm going to post it separately on Facebook. And then, of course, I copy all the captions because I am not rewriting those. So I just copy it to a notebook and I save it on my notebook. And then so I'll pop it into every other caption. And if I need to switch it a little bit, then I will. But I copy them all because I'm not rewriting all of those. And so it'll be Instagram first, usually Facebook, and then YouTube, because YouTube, as you guys know, it takes a little longer to upload. You've got a lot of things to fill in, and you got to write the whole description, and then you got to title it, and then you got to think of like something great to title it so people will click on it. And so that one is probably like, I posted that other video this morning on Instagram and Facebook like within seconds. And I'm like, okay, YouTube, I've got to take a photo, I've got to make a thumbnail. So I'm going to do that later today. It's a longer process. So that one's usually the last one I'll post on.
Okay, you mentioned save to notebook. What notebook is this?
Just like the notebook that comes on your iPhone and your computer, your Mac computer. Just something
Oh,
that's
like the
literally just called.
notes?
Is it the notes section or is it
Oh,
like a
okay.
notebook?
It's just a note, like the regular notebook that comes on your phone, and I write all of my notes in there. So if I go in there are so many notes. Like I definitely need to start labeling them. But it has all of my like bullet points from every video that I've ever made, every blog that I've written. All of it's in there, and I use it to transfer content like that. Like, all right, I'm going to copy and paste all of this. It just makes life so much easier that way. And I'm all about being efficient with things and just doing it quickly so that I can focus on lead generating. So I definitely have dove in deep with this, and I think being consistent about it is definitely going to pay off. It has already, and because I'm new, I think that I pop into some of these groups and I will post a video, and it'll just be me saying, "Hey, any agents in my area, like within an hour of the city, I'll host an open house for you. Just comment or send me a message, whatever you want." And so I feel because people don't do that, I'm literally the only one. I kind of feel like, should I be doing this? I'm the only one in these groups that's posting these videos, and I will do it. I'm like, I don't care if you're tired of seeing my face. You're going to know about me, and you're going to know that I want to host your open house. And so I'll do it at the beginning of every week. And then, it's crazy that people they just inbox me. They're like, hey, can you do this on Friday? Can you do this? So like just this past weekend, I was like, guys, I cannot take another open house right now. Like maybe next week. I would love to next week. So it's great. I feel like I'm getting that response because I'm putting my face out there, right? Most people just write a little text. I can host an open house. No, nobody's reading that. You didn't even have an emoji on there. Nobody's reading that. We're scrolling right past that. I mean, I got ADHD. I need to see something exciting. What do you know? No, I can't. Like post something that people like want to. It's visually attracting you to look at it. So I think it's been good. It's been good. I think like it's going to pay off. And I'm just laughing at Allie's face.
I agree. I mean, okay, I am so this topic specifically of agents attempting to get an open house, it is not hard.
Yo, real quick, this podcast is not free. Cost of admission is sharing with a buddy who'd benefit or throwing it on your Instagram story. Tag us, we'll reshare that.
Just be a person and don't just send a text saying, "Hi, I see you listed 4712 North Palisade. Can I do an open house this Saturday?" That's it. First of all, what's your name? Are we in the same brokerage? Why should I choose you? Because I have 30 other text messages of people wanting to do my open houses. Do something, I don't know. One time I usually just ignore them, honestly. Like if that's the bare minimum, that it was obviously like a copy paste, just tweak out the address, I'm not responding. But one time I did. And I was like, "Hey, like why should I choose you? And also, who are you?" And he got offended. Oh my God. He was like, "Oh wow." It was just so crazy. I'm like, "Why are you acting out like this? And then therefore you think I'm still gonna choose you to be the open house representative for a seller's property? Like you're like an extension of me, So at least sell yourself a little. The bare minimum is what everyone else is doing, and that's in everything in real estate. No matter not just open houses, it's listing, it's marketing, it's prospecting, it's every. So, I am gonna make a video about this because I'm so passionate
Yes,
about
you should.
this.
It's a good topic. No one's doing it. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I'm like, why? See people in front of people all the time? Like, aren't you selling $1 homes? Like, you can't, like, you're talking people spending money, millions. Like, let them see your face. Let them get to know you. And, it helps you connect. I built so many connections doing that. I have a agent that I listed her, or I hosted her open house last week on Friday. She wants me to host again this Sunday, and she is moving. And she's, "Hey, I want to co-list this 1.4 million house with you because I'm moving and I have all these contacts in Chicago still. And any listing, I want to co-list with you. And then any buyers, obviously, I'll just give them to you and with whatever referral fee." And I'm like, yes. And it's all because she liked my energy and videos on one of these things. And she was like, "Yes, you can do my open house." And so that's a major, connection, you know what I mean? And I've done so many with other people, and they all are literally like, "You're going to be my open house person." I'm like, all right, I'm on it. So every open house, I've had people like, "You're going to do my open house every single time." And also I market the hell for them because, I mean, honestly, I want to help them sell their house, but I also want to be the one that finds the buyer. So of course I'm going to put it out there everywhere. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I even have boosted somebody's post for $5 for 3 days. I was like, I really believe your house is amazing. I really want to help you find a buyer for it. So I think that agents are like, nobody else would do that, I feel like. So yeah, like you said, people are just kind of like, "Hey, let me host your open house." And it's very easy to compete with somebody like that. I mean,
Oh, 100%. Like, why are why are people even struggling to get open houses? Yeah. I didn't even realize that you're doing blogs. Where are you posting them? How are you writing them? Are you using ChatGPT or anything like that? And does it correlate with the videos or is it just on different topics?
Yeah, like where can we go right now so I can pull it up as you answer?
okay, so you would go on my website and then scroll all the way down. So my EXP website, and it'll say blogs under there. And so some of them do have to do with some of the videos that I've made, but some of them are just off topic. Like one of them I wrote is like preparing your house or like how to sell your house in the winter, like things that could, help buyers find it more appealing, right? Like nice, welcoming smells in the house, nice, welcoming winter decor, like things that are just going to make your house stand out because the wintertime, is harder for some people to sell homes. So I thought that maybe that was important thing to put out there so people know you can still sell your house in the winter and you can make it look even cozier than in the summer. Like throws like some nice fall blankets out, whatever it is. People should be like, "Oh, I want to live in this house. It's cozy." So the blogs, I post them on LinkedIn. I post them on Facebook, and I have posted some of them on Pinterest. So it's kind of like whatever way somebody can see it on LinkedIn and be like, they could click on it and, they'll go to my website, right? And on the side, because I do it through KV Core, on the side of that blog is literally the house searching tool. So if they, whatever, type into search, they're going to now be in my CRM. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to put blogs wherever because, and I actually do have like hundreds of people seeing the blogs because KV Core keeps track. And I'm like, just even if one person's, hey, I'm looking to buy, it's all it takes. It didn't take me anything, but these blogs take me like 5 minutes because, as you said, what you can do is, and this is something I learned off of YouTube from somebody. So you can take like content from a different place, right? And you're just resharing it. So what you write under it is original post by, and you give that person or that post credit. And now if they're like, hey, I don't want the credit for this, I don't want it up, then just simply take it off. So I've done that. And then I've also done where, I'll have Chat GPT write me something that I want to discuss. And then I take bits and pieces that sound like exciting. I'm not going to take the whole thing. And then I go into Quillbot and then I rewrite it in a way that it would sound good to me. Then here comes Canva again to add photos to make it interesting because nobody just wants to read a sheet of paper. I don't, if you send me a sheet of paper and there's no images on it, I'm never going to read it. I'm just not.
Dude, I'm going back to look at any email I've ever sent you because now I'm like, oh, I need to add more emojis is what I need to do. Up. Eve, I have a question. So you just said, how much time it takes to do YouTube video and you're doing content and you're like opening, marketing open houses out the wazoo and you're doing blogs. I'm curious about your like schedule because I also still know that you're doing like personal training stuff. Are you the type that lives by a calendar? Are you super structured or are you just like slam jamming it as it comes? What does that look like?
Apple listeners, this short pause is to ask you for a review. Here's how to do it. Back out of the specific episode, go to the page where you see all the episodes, scroll down, keep scrolling. Perfect. Now tap those 5 stars. Thank you so much. Back to the show.
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely. All right, I got this going on. Let's do that. I have since Allie and Ruben, I've been better. I've got my calendar. Because I'm going to need that once I start getting clients. Like I need to be ready for that. And my life has never been that way. I'm always just kind of like, that looks great. I'm going to go do that right now. All right, I'm going to go over here right now because this is shiny. So I'm going over here. And I'm like, I really need to focus. So I do use my calendar so much more now. And my schedule is I get up usually around 5, maybe a little bit earlier, depending on, I'm an old lady. I go to bed at 8:30. I'm like brushing my teeth. I'm like, let's go. I got to go to bed. And so I pop up at
same
5.
hardcore.
I'm like ready to go. And so at 5 a.m, my first client's at 6:15. So at 5 a.m, I get ready for work. I don't even know why. I put makeup on and stuff and I don't leave the house, but just makes me feel more awake and better. So, and my clients probably can't even see my face and they're also sweating to death and dying. They're not paying attention, but for me, it makes me feel good. So, I get ready for work and then I sit down with my coffee and I'll film content at 5 a.m. because it's not like I can be contacting potential leads that early in the morning. So I use that time to make a quick video about an open house or to make a flyer about an open house or to record a YouTube video. And since I'm most awake at 5 a.m, it works out great. I do not have that energy at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. I'm pajamas sitting on the couch. So that's my schedule of the morning of when I do content. It's early in the morning. And then train a couple of clients. And then it's basically go eat some lunch and then back into like deep diving of how can I get clients, watching YouTubes, reading Allie's real estate Bible, like just learning, like checking in to see what you guys are doing. What can I be doing? I was excited last week to hop on the open house class and like the script class. Like I was so excited to finally be able to do that. I think that that's so valuable that I'm a part of this team with you guys because I would never be able, just me as a person, to go work at Beard and Warner out here. And they have 5 people to talk to. If I text somebody, the likelihood of them responding to me right away, if there's 5 team people, I mean, they're busy. They're not going to be like, hey, but you guys literally respond within seconds. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't know how you guys do it. I'll ask you like a question, and you guys will both send me, there's this book, do this. I was like, oh, okay. It's so great. I have such a great support system, and you guys feel like family because you're just on top of it. I'm like, man, they are.
We are aggressive with our response, like immediately. Yeah.
I love that. I love it. It works for me because I need that. I need someone to be like, here it is in your face. This is what it is. I'm like, yes, that's what I need. So it works out great. But okay, sorry, sidetrack. Here we go. So back to the schedule. So I usually am done doing that. I try to be done doing the lead generation stuff by 5. And then I'm like, okay, I need to work on some other things because that's a long time. I'll be sitting there for 5 or 6 hours doing that. But it's because that's what I need to do to make money, right? That's the most important thing right now, that and social media. So I prioritize that. And, now I've added in the open houses. So my weekends are dedicated to promoting the open houses and getting those up and going and making sure I'm doing a good job for those agents so that they feel comfortable and want to continue to use me. So yeah. And then bedtime at 8, 8:30. And I just do that literally every day. Saturday, Sunday, same thing. I just don't have training clients. So Saturday and Sunday, I'm like excited. I'm like, yes, I can actually spend the morning like doing full real estate invested stuff. So, because that's where I want to, that's what I'm doing, transferring those careers. So that's my schedule.
Eve, what are your goals for 2024? What can we help with?
So one of my goals is I've never made 3 figures. And so I'm like, all right, I really want to try to
3
do
or
that.
6?
No, wait.
6.
Yes. 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 You're like 3. I can't. Yes. Yes, 6. Yes, thanks for the correction. Yes, 6. And so I feel like it's a goal that is a healthy one because it's definitely in my market. That is something that's doable. It's not like something outrageous. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of consistency. But, like our houses in my area, to get a decent house, you're spending at least $600,000, depending, right? Further out into the suburbs, you could get houses for 400, 300. But where I'm at, I think it's a reasonable goal. And, I want to have as many transactions as possible. I guess I want to try to get one every month or 2, but I haven't had one yet. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure what to expect. And, I'm sure everybody says it's going to snowball at some point. So I'm just waiting for that snowball to start growing and something needs to start happening, So I'm excited to get into it, but that would be my goal to make 6 figures at 3.
Dude, perfect. You freaking got this. We're going to get you all squared away with an editor. We're going to force that, upon you, leverage out some of these tasks, and world domination is at your fingertips. But we are headed to the wrap up questions. Question number 1, what is your favorite app or tool?
CapCut, definitely my favorite. I use it, I don't know, 20 times a day for everything.
And what events are you going to in 2024?
There's a lot of Chicago investor groups that I go to. They're just kind of like sprinkled throughout the year. I just went to one last week and I think they're amazing. Not only is it because I invest, so I really want to grow that. I really want to, the end goal is basically to buy properties to grow. It's not passive. Investing is not passive, but you know how they say, I want some passive income to eventually be financially free. I don't have a lot of bills, so I could literally be financially free if I had 4 doors. So it's good to just, make connections. It's so funny. I went to this one last week and it's so funny. People just stand there and I'm like, why aren't you talking to people? So I just run up and be like, hey guys, I'm Eve, and they're just like, oh, aren't we supposed to be doing this? right? Aren't we? That's what these meetings are for. We're supposed to be talking to each other. I don't know. But so I go to those a lot. And I think I'm going to be going to some meetings with one of the agents that I did an open house with. She's works in commercial, and I think that you would be great in commercial. And literally, I mean, commercial real estate is millions per transaction. So I was like, I'm on board. I'm going to take you to the events that you need to be at for that. And I was like, I'm on board. Let's go.
How can people help you in your business? And for those people who want to help you, where can they find you?
So they can find me, I most likely on Instagram, just shooting me a message, or I am doing a collaboration with an artist, a big time artist. He's amazing. He has a ton of followers. We're going to do a collab at one of my open houses that I'm hosting for someone. We're doing it January 6th, and I'll be promoting it so people can know about it, but just sharing. Just, if you thought something was helpful, literally just, you don't have to share it publicly. Just share it with a friend. I don't care, just share it. I think that would be the biggest thing. I feel like people, I can see there's 200 people saw that story. I'm like, you couldn't give me just a little share? I mean, and most of them I know personally. I'm like, what are you just couldn't hit share and send it to somebody, So that is the one thing that I would love and would be a great thing for people to be, to support my business, right? I think that's the key thing is like people want to know that someone else knows that person, right? Because again, it's the whole trust thing, right? So if my friend sends me someone's page and they're like, this artist is great, like you should go check them out. Like, I'm going to go check them out because my friend thinks they're awesome. So yeah. So
I
share.
have a story. One of the most popular 2023 Agent Goldmine episode, Mark Horton, he he shared one of your stories and sent it to me and was like, I like this girl. It was because it was the video of you like sipping coffee, but it said like bourbon or something like that. You're like, a whiskey. You're like, I'm not drinking whiskey. It's 7 a.m. This is gin. I like her. It was so funny.
I love that video. And
Yeah.
like, I've seen it. I know that person.
Yeah. So we will, but yeah. Okay. Everyone knows, follow Eve Making Moves on Instagram. You have really, really good social media presence and share her stuff. I know Mark already is. So if you have any feedback for us, if you have not given The Agent Goldmine a 5-star review, especially on Apple, please do so right now. Give Eve a follow, give us a follow, give The Agent Goldmine on Instagram a follow. We will see you there, and be a bro and share this show. I don't even know where I want to go with this. I just want to tell my avant-garde story. We'll cut this part out, this awkward part.
But I've never made 3 figures. And so I'm like, I really want to try to
3
do that.
or 6?
No. Wait. So those are some of the events that I'm going to be doing.
So sorry. There was another lag because I couldn't unmute myself fast enough.
Thanks so much for listening, dude. If you want the golden nugget that this guest provided, see the show notes or just go straight to theagentgoldmine.com. That's where we keep all our resources for you. Till next time.